Tūtanga I te rā nei. O anō, nau mai hoki mai te whānau o te koremako o Taranaki I te pautūtanga o day 7 of lockdown. And very happy today to be joined by Todd Velvin. Todd is the
kia ora.
Todd,
Kia ora.
Group Manager for Civil Defence in Taranaki, is this right?
Yeah, correct. So I'm the Regional Manager for Taranaki Emergency Management or Civil Defence. So our office is based in New Plymouth, but we work for the region. So yeah, we look after the region. If an event occurs like COVID-19 or any other adverse event.
Now, Todd, we haven't heard a whole lot from you guys so far this time round. Can you just describe what Civil Defence's role in lockdown is?
Yeah, I can. So this time around, it's a little bit different. So Civil Defence plays a supporting role to all the other major agencies or government agencies out there. So this time, with the resurgence, we're seeing the Ministry of Health, the lead agency. So they're leading the response to COVID-19, and we're one of the background supporting agencies that just leans in and assists where we can. So we work really closely with our local DHB and the Ministry of Social Development, plus our other agencies, like all the emergency services, MPI, MB, all that. So just providing resources and assistance where we can.
Yeah, I noticed on your website you've got a lot of those messages, local health messages, particularly about what's going on around the place, how people can get tests, vaccinations, and so forth.
Yeah, we do. So definitely trying to use our channels and share as much media stuff as we can and get that messaging out there to the wider community. So there's a lot of user groups that follow the Civil Defence pages and Facebook pages and stuff. So we're sharing that message, trying to keep our whānau, friends, and community safe from what is a trying time for everybody having to be in lockdown for level 4.
So in a bit more of a detailed fashion, what have you guys been up to for the last week?
So things we're up to, I just have to mute my phone. Sorry, someone's trying to ring me. Yeah. So what we've been up to in the last week is we sit along DHB and MSD. So we've been preparing for a lot of welfare cases if there need be in our community. So at the moment, most of the needs go through the Ministry of Social Development, but we sit alongside them and behind them to make sure that if anybody falls through the cracks, we're there to hopefully pick up those people that are in need and provide the welfare that they might require. And there's numerous cases out there that could bring that up. Most of the time, our DHB's Ministry of Health and Ministry of Social Development can deal with it, but on occasions, there are people that fall through the cracks, and that's where we come in.
Would that potentially kick in to affect more if there were, a lot more cases, if maybe people were having to self-isolate in Taranaki, couldn't get out and get food and so forth?
Yeah, it does. So at the moment, what's happening is there are quite a few people who are probably self-isolating. We know in Taranaki there's people that have been in Auckland and locations of interest, and of course close contacts. We're a world of 2 degrees of separation in New Zealand, so we know there are people that are doing that. Luckily, and I think this is one of the great things about Taranaki, is that our community is quite well connected. So people are providing or looking after each other and maybe doing that contactless delivery of groceries, or they're using the services available through food banks and so forth. So far we haven't had to really step in too much because the community are doing a great job of looking after themselves and helping each other out in a really safe manner.
And one of the things that you do, you're in consultation with the various EWE leaders, yeah? You have a 3 waka structure there you deal with?
Yeah, we do. So this came about from the first time around in COVID-19 when we struck this pandemic first time. So we have three waka systems. So there's 3 EWE leaders that have been put forward by the 8 EWE chairs forum, and they directly connect in with our mayors, what we call our regional leadership group. So we work with them really closely. It's a great relationship. They're the wonderful people to work with, and yeah, so we have a good working relationship with them and connect on many levels to try and make sure we're reaching everybody, or we're all on the same path, rather than going off in 2 different directions.
And would that maybe be more a case of them feeding information to you about, who's in need, how you can help?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I quite often, I saw this last time, our iwi were well ahead of the game in providing for their people, their whānau and their local communities. So they've definitely got systems in place that are very robust and able to cope. So yeah, we try and feed both ways, but definitely, I mean, they're well advanced and looking after their people, and I think they do a wonderful job.
And then are your people practically delivering food parcels, welfare parcels and stuff at the moment?
No, we're not. So the way our structure works is if we do get a request, we try and use the avenues we've got through food banks and their delivery mechanisms if they have one, or we can provide that through other means. So normally that's through our local councils. So our councils are heavily involved in this as well. But there's lots of supporting agencies out there and teams that can do this. The classic case would be, I know Safer Communities Trust in Stratford. Di Gleeson and the team down there have done some already, so they've helped get some food from food banks to some people that have been in need. So there's wonderful community groups. It kind of sometimes feels like it makes us a little bit redundant, but it's great to see these people standing up and being able to provide that service.
So if things became more active, let's say, if there were lots of cases in Taranaki, at what stage would you guys be stepping up and maybe being more seen out there?
Yeah, you're probably not likely to see us. So the way civil defence emergency management works, and it's quite different to the old school way where quite often we're in the background as much as possible, working with these agencies, these groups, and there's so many groups out there. There's the Salvation Armies, the Rapid Response Teams, the Red Cross, all these groups that can provide the service. For us in Taranaki and our group, the way we work is trying to help bring everybody together and coordinate a really good regional response. So you're not likely to see civil defence logos or anything out wandering the streets. You're likely to see other agencies out there, but you know that we're in the background helping coordinate that and direct, and these agencies work really closely with us. So let's say tomorrow there's a need for some sort of welfare need in the community, it'll come through us, whether it be from the Three Waka, the iwis, or from other channels through call centres that the councils have, and then we'll try and coordinate the delivery of that and working with those other agencies. And they're all trained. They've all got the right gear. They've got the right PPE and stuff to go out in the field. So it's good to have.
So I understand what do we have? The Taranaki Emergency Management Office, that's active, and that, as you say, is coordinating things really, joining the dots, making sure people don't fall between any gaps there, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct. So when you hear TEMO, which is the acronym for Taranaki Emergency Management Office, that's our regional office for civil defence. So there's 10 people that work in that office, and currently at the moment we're all looking at this response. We've got not everybody's doing this as a full-time. We've got a couple of different shifts going just so people don't get tired, and we keep an A and a B shift so we can separate, and we're all working from home to follow good guidelines. So we have probably every day at the moment, maybe 5 or 6 people just working on this, and it's not busy. And then if something happens, what we'll do is we'll start reaching into our councils a little bit more. So it's steady as she goes at the moment, and I know we've got a few more days till we wait to the government announcement. But yeah, let's hope we keep Taranaki clear of COVID for one, and the community keeps doing a good job looking after each other and following the rules and guidelines.
Okay, Todd. And oftentimes we see marae called on in natural disasters, maybe there's floods or severe weather events, that kind of thing. Could you see any use for marae in this circumstance, or is COVID really pretty different?
Yeah, COVID's pretty different. Marae are wonderful places, and I love the fact that in adverse events, it's they open the doors for everybody, and we saw that in the Christchurch earthquakes all those years ago. Just they opened their doors for everybody and had a very good handle on things. And COVID-19 and this resurgence with the Delta variant, we're currently looking at event planning if we would have another natural disaster at the moment and how we deal with that, because we know it's transmissible really easily, and we don't want to stick a whole lot of people in a mass space if we don't have to. And saying that, there's always a place, because life comes first. So if there's someone's lives at risk, if there's a flooding or an earthquake event and we need to move people out of an area, that is our priority, and we have to deal with the pandemic afterwards, because we need to protect their life first from that event.
Okay, and another really visible thing we've seen in previous lockdowns, maybe more at stage 3 if we go there, is roadblocks. Do you guys have any involvement there?
Yeah, so we're kept in the loop. So unfortunately, the government, DPMC, the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, will make that call and we'll get told. But it is likely, if the path keeps going down this way, that we might see regional boundaries. So that's going to be administered by New Zealand Police. No doubt they will have other agencies like Defence Force and that trying to help bolster their ranks, because it's a big draw on their resources. So we have visibility across it, but it is a wait and see on how we manage that. In Taranaki, there has been some proposal put forward to roadblocks on our regional boundaries, but nothing set in stone at the moment.
Okay, and again, in that case, it wouldn't really be you guys. We wouldn't see your logo out there. It's police and EWE that kind of run that together, yeah.
Yeah, it's New Zealand Police that will run it, and they'll be the ones that have to set it up with the traffic management plans. The only really involvement we'll do is help resource that for them. So if we're having to resource gear around those checkpoints, I mean, you've got to think there's need toilets and facilities for the people that are out there, anything like that. If they need additional help resourcing those, let's play our fingers crossed, and hopefully we don't see one on our border, that it might be the Auckland Coromandel or Auckland Wellington, but we'll wait and see.
And can people, if people have a need, say a welfare need, food packages, maybe medical supplies, can they get in touch with you guys directly, or do they need to go through a different agency?
Yeah, if they try the Ministry of Social Development first, or their local food banks, if they have no luck there, then they can head down our path, I suppose, and then we can help guide. All our district councils have call centres at the moment, and they have a lovely, wonderful flowchart diagram that's going to help find out where people fit. And at the bottom of that flowchart, if they can't fit them somewhere and get them the proper service they need and the help they need, then that ends up coming to us. The phone call ends up coming to us. So it's just through those means at the moment.
And I presume a similar role and set up at different civil defence regions around the country.
Yeah, most regions have got the same thing. They've just got call centres in their local regional councils or district councils with their number, and they're doing the same thing. The guidance we get from central government, so the all-of-government approach to COVID is the same thing. So the flowcharts we're using are from them. And that's the big thing. Ministry of Social Development have really jumped in, boots and all, this time around, and providing a great service. Whereas I think last time we kind of split the service because Civil Defence were a lead agency in the response. So it's great to have Ministry of Social Development really picking up that stuff at the moment.
So in summary, Todd, I guess you guys are behind the scenes. Yeah, you're waiting behind the scenes, doing that coordination role rather than being seen at the moment. Yeah,
and you'll find that we do that quite often in events. We're sitting behind the scenes, coordinating, trying to make sure there's fair and equitable stuff across the region. You never want the biggest district or area to get the most resources and stuff. So that's our role in our Taranaki Emergency Management Office, is to coordinate and make sure it's all being delivered fairly across the region to the right places at the right time, and work really heavily with our partner agencies that are out there on the front lines dealing with the people.
Hey, that's great. Last question. I was just curious about your last name. That's an unusual one I haven't seen before. Where is that from?
Yeah, I have Scottish and French heritage. So my mother's maiden name's Fraser, so that's from Scotland, and Velvin's French. It goes back a fairly long way, actually. I know how many Velvin there are in New Zealand. There's not many. It's only maybe a dozen or so. But yeah, there's not many of us. Most of us are in the Taranaki region. I think one in Martin as well. But yeah, it's a unique name.
Oh, nice. I've got some phrases back in my background too. So kia ora whanaunga.
Yeah, I've been to Fraser Castle. It's a wonderful place. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, look, thanks again, Todd. Thanks very much for your time. And look, just get back to us if there's anything else we can do for you guys, you know, promoting your messages or helping out in any way. I know we're on the kind of emergency list as a station to get messages out there. So yeah, great to hear from you.
Yeah, kia ora for having us on. It's wonderful to connect, you know, and happy to, you know, for you to call up anytime or for us to call you and have a kōrero and discuss what's happening and what's topical around emergency management. And the key thing moving in the future is getting our people and our communities prepared to cope better.
Hey, kia ora, Todd.